Hi, this is Miss Gunter. This is Unit 5, Lesson 4, Solving Systems of Equations Algebraically using the Elimination Method. And this is a must-do lesson. You learned the substitution method to solve systems of equations algebraically, and the elimination method is another method to solve systems of equations algebraically. In this method, you add or subtract the equations to eliminate a variable. And we'll be focusing on adding the equations to eliminate a variable. In the elimination method, when the coefficients of a variable are the same and the signs are opposite, you add the two equations to eliminate that variable. Alternatively, when the coefficients of a variable are the same and the signs are also the same, you first multiply one of the equations by -1, then add the two equations to eliminate a variable. So let's look at an example. Example 1 says solve the system above using the elimination method. So we have two equations. We can call the first equation equation 1 and the second equation equation 2. So which variable should we eliminate? Well, we see that the variable x has the same coefficient, has a coefficient of 2, but the signs are opposite. So we can go ahead and eliminate x. So the variable to eliminate is x. So we're going to eliminate x. As we see where in equation 1, x has a coefficient of +2, and in equation 2, it has a coefficient of -2. So let's add those two equations. So writing them here, we have 2x plus 4y equals 10 and -2x plus y equals -15. So adding these two equations, 2x plus -2x gives us a 0, so x is eliminated. Then we have 4y plus y. The y in equation 2 does not have a coefficient in front of it, but the convention is when we don't see that coefficient is actually 1, so I'll put the 1 here. So 4y plus 1y gives us 5y. And then 10 plus -15 gives us -5. Dividing both sides of the equation by 5, the 5's cross cancel on the left, and we're left with y equals -5 divided by 5, which is -1. So we just found one of the variables. The value of y is -1. The next step is to input or plug and solve for the second variable. So we're then going to plug the value of y that we just found into either of those equations. So let's plug it in equation 1. So I'll rewrite equation 1 here. 2x plus 4y equals 10. And we're going to take the value of y that we just found and plug it in that equation. So rewriting the equation, we have 2x plus 4. And instead of y, we're going to replace y with the number or the value of -1, and that's equal to 10. Okay, we're then going to distribute to get rid of the parentheses. So we have 2x, and then 4 times -1 is -4. So 2x minus 4 equals 10. Solving for x, we add 4 to both sides of the equation. And we have, adding the two equations, we bring down the 2x. -4 plus 4 is 0, so that goes away. And then 10 plus 4 is 14. Dividing both sides of the equation by 2. The 2's on the left cross cancel, and we're left with x equals 7. So we just solved for both x and y. Now we typically put our answer in the form of coordinate pairs. So the solution is x equals 7, and the value of y is -1. We're going to go ahead and check our answer, and we do the check by plugging in the values that we found for the variables x and y in either of the two original equations. So equation 1 looks easier because it's all positive, so I'm going to use equation 1. So I rewrite equation 1 here. 2x plus 4y equals 10. Then I'm going to replace x and y with the values that we just found. We said x is 7 and y is -1. Okay, so simplifying what we have on the left side of the equation, 2 times 7 is 14. 4 times -1 is -4. And we're going to check to see if that's equal to 10. 14 take away 4 is 10. So 10 is equal to 10. So because the value on the left is 10 is equal to 10, and that's a true statement, this is telling us that the value of x and y that we found are correct. So let's look at example 2. It says solve the system above using the elimination method. So first, we're going to identify which variable we should eliminate. So we have equation 1 and equation 2. We notice that the variable x has the same coefficient in both equations, so we're going to eliminate x. But we also notice that the sign of that coefficient is the same in both equations. So that means that we have to multiply one of the equations by -1. Let's use the first equation. Let's use equation 1 and multiply that by -1. So copying equation 1, we have 5x plus 3y equals 22. And we're going to multiply each term in that equation by -1. Distributing that -1, we have -1 times 5x, that's -5x. -1 times +3y is -3y. And -1 times 22 is -22. We will then use this as our revised equation 1. So the revised equation 1 is -5x minus 3y equals -22. We're going to add to that equation 2, which is 5x plus 6y equals 34. Adding those two equations, we have -5x plus 5x is 0, so x gets eliminated. -3y plus 6y is 3y. And -22 plus 34 is 12. Dividing both sides of the equation by 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and we have y equals 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So we found the value of y. We're then going to plug that value of y into either of the original equations to solve for x. So let's use equation 1 because the numbers are smaller. So we have 5x plus 3y equals 22. And we're going to plug this value of y into that equation. So we have 5x plus 3, and the value of y is 4 equals 22. So 5x plus 4 times 3, which is 12, equals 22. Solving for x, we take away 12 from both sides. And then we're left with 5x. 12 minus 12 is 0, so that goes away. And then 22 minus 12 is 10. Dividing both sides of the equation by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And we have x equals 10 divided by 5, which is 2. So we found our solution. The value of x is 2, and the value of y is 4. We can do a check to see if this answer is correct. So I can use either equation to do my check, but I'm going to use the first equation because once again the numbers are smaller in that equation. So copying equation 1, we have 5x plus 3y equals 22. Plugging the values of x and y in this equation, we have 5 times 2 plus 3 times 4. And we're going to check to see if that gives us 22. So simplifying what we have on the left, we have 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 times 4 is 12. When we add those together, are we going to get 22? Well, 10 plus 12 is 22, and 22 equals 22. This is a true statement. So that's telling us that the value of x and y that we found is correct. And this is a summary of the steps that we take to solve systems of equations by elimination.